Good morning, welcome to Stretch. Today is Friday, August the 6th. I did have to look at that. The days are going away. It's actually not the 6th, it's the 7th. So welcome to Stretch. Today our goal is to work on strengthening and releasing the hips and back. Usually when I do stretch, I am focusing a little bit on hip release, but today's goal, as well as releasing and strengthening the hips and back, is to also get out any kind of tension that's in the neck and shoulders. We want to make sure the entire body is being rewarded for the work it does every day. We demand a lot of our bodies. Usually, even grocery shopping, you're pushing a cart, you're holding your shoulders up. If you get stressed, if you're typing, all of that stuff in our day tenses our bodies. This is a reward. It's meant to be a reward to your body. So enjoy, join me. If you have any questions about modifications, please reach out. You may want to, if you have any kind of knee issues, grab your pillow or folded blanket. You can put that behind the knees if needed to keep those knees from having any kind of tension or tightness in there. So we're going to start out with a basic cat pose. So hands are hip width apart, knees are hip width, straight down from your hips should be where your knees are. Fingers are outspread, index fingers should be pointed forward. So a cat stretch is like an angry cat. Pull and tuck that head down, tilt your pelvis in, and press through the hands, through the arms and shoulders to arch that back like an angry cat. Take deep breaths with me. Big diaphragmatic breaths is what we're looking for. I want to do about 4 breaths per pose if it's possible. If you're pursing your lips or any tension in your face, let it release out. Let that neck come down as an extension of the spine, and just breathe into it. Okay, come down to cow pose. This angles your hips the opposite direction of where you just were. Your head goes up. Again, an extension of the spine is where you always want your head and neck aimed. Your tailbone points out, and your belly goes toward the floor. Deep breaths. If you're working on what is a deep breath, let your jaw just kind of give open just a little bit. Just kind of hang in there in a relaxed state. Go in through the nose and out through the mouth as you inflate your belly. Great job. Okay, if your shoulders are up with this one, make sure they're rolled down. That's the only thing that I would add to what we've just done. Okay, underturn your toes if they're not already. Come back up onto the legs. We're going to head into a down dog. With down dog, your goal is to press your heels down into the floor. Come forward a little bit so you can see me. Press those heels down. Press back into the legs and hips. Really press through those arms so that you can get a great stretch through your legs. If you need to pad them out just a little bit to press back, do so. You might feel this in your hamstrings, in your calves. Probably most of us feel it in our calves tremendously. Deep breaths. Again, press through the arms to put most of the tension back into the hips, pressing back into the hips rather. All right, from here, pull your feet forward just a little bit. This one I want to take us into a stretch of the back, so the legs. I want you to try and put your inside of your forearm on the back of your leg, on your calf. Press the hips up. Straightening those legs, relax the neck. You're not holding it up in any way, just relax it down completely. As you try and straighten those hips, straighten those legs, you should feel a stretch in your back. You may feel it in your hamstrings. You definitely feel some in your calves, possibly even in your glutes. Deep breaths. Close your eyes if you're able to, if you don't feel dizzy or you don't want to be swaying and falling over. One more deep breath. Great job. Soften those knees up. Come upright with your body. We're going to go wide with the feet. Point the toes out. Here, I want you to go into yogi squat. If you need to take the feet a little closer, do so. Just a nice, deep, hip opening squat. The reason we open the toes up, pulling the feet aimed out, is to make sure that we're not putting any stress or tension on those knees. This is what you should look like from the side. My knees like to talk to me and make noises. Deep breaths. Sink into that squat. Feel your hips opening up. You may feel a little bit in your back, relaxing and stretching out. It's a great, great thing to do. All right. Take and plant your hands on the floor. Push your hips up in the air. I want you to aim your toes forward. This one, I just want you to take your feet wide. Hands are flat. You want to keep your back flat. Let those knees push back, straighten the legs, flatten the back. Really stretch those legs. You should feel a lovely stretch on the insides of the thighs, the adductors. You may feel some still in your hamstrings, backs of the thighs. Flatten your back out. You should possibly even feel this into your back. Hip extenders, all of the goodness in there. Couple more deep breaths for me. Flatten those backs. With each exhalation, you should sink a slight bit deeper into the stretch. All right, from here, I want to take us into a triangle. So you're pointing your front foot forward. Your back foot is pointed out. Your hand goes down on the inside of that leg. If you can't quite get down there, that's fine. Take the back leg, same hand, up in the air. Opener as well. What you're doing with this is opening, and you probably feel it right now. You should be opening up your adductor of the front pointed leg. Gaze up at your top hand if you're able to. One more deep breath. Neck impingement, gazing up may not be comfortable, so go as far as you're able to comfortably. Okay, we're doing the opposite side now. So your back leg now becomes your front leg. Point those toes forward. Back toes are 90 degrees faced away from you. Take the front hand down. Take the top hand up. Gaze up at your top hand if you have the ability. Open up that front adductor area. Again, the gaze up just takes you fully into that stretch if you're not fully able to do it. It's okay. And if you can't put your hand on the floor, if you have a yoga block, you can put that here. You can also grab the shin and do the same thing. So this is your modification for it. I would, however, sink as deep into it as you possibly can. One more deep breath. Great job. Slowly take the hand down. We're going to go into a runner's lunge. I have a few more than 10 stretches today, and that is fully okay. This runner's lunge is going to get not just the hip flexors that we've been doing, but you should be feeling a stretch in your hip we've been doing the hip flexors. Extenders, oh my goodness, I'm lost today. These are your hip flexors we're stretching today, right now. Gracious, it's been a morning, I guess. Get twisted up. I guess that's what twisting up gets you. Twisting in your words. One more deep breath for this one. All right. Hold that back leg up. Slowly reverse your feet. And you're just gonna turn around the other way. Both feet are pointed forward. Your back leg now becomes your front leg. Sink into that stretch. The further back the back foot is, the better your stretch is going to be in the hip flexors. If you can, flatten your foot to where your bottom of your foot in the back is aimed up toward the ceiling, you can do that. If you need to put the toes under in order to keep your knee padded, that's fine. Or you can grab something to put under your knee. That would be ideal. Okay, slowly coming out of that one. All right, for this next one, what I want to do is take us onto the floor. So you're taking this feet underneath you. I want to take us into a knee hug. And we're going to come back to a pigeon. So just grabbing those knees, rocking back with them. I intertwine the fingers, pull the knees down into my chest. Let your pelvis sink into the floor as you do this. Pelvic positioning is very important in your everyday walking, standing, everyday life. Most of us have a pelvic tilt, most of our society. Our idea is to get that back into neutral so that all muscles are firing in the right way and no muscles are compensating for others. Reach out to me if you have questions about that. I'd love to guide you through it. All right, grab those knees and rock yourself back up. All right, there is a great stretch for the lower innermost part of your back. It's called the quadratus lumborum. We're gonna get that stretch going right now. All right, so what you're doing is taking your feet nice and wide. You want to reach down inside of that foot. Either side is fine to start on. You're going to take your hand over the top, trying to get down as far to the foot as you can, pressing your sternum away from you. You should feel this stretch deep into the back. It's an often neglected, stretched muscle. We tend to not get that one as easily as others. If you have any kind of sciatica, anything what you feel like is sciatica, oftentimes it's linked to this muscle. As I've stated in the past, every time you go into and out of a stretch, go into and out of nice and slow and controlled. So I'm just kind of rocking myself to the other side now. Grab the opposite leg, come over the top, press your sternum away from you. Great stretch, deep breaths for me. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One last stretch that I want to do is called the pigeon pose, and some of you are familiar with this already. Again, this is going to be your hip flexors, truly stating it correctly this time. All right, so what you're doing is taking one leg and crossing it in front of you. The back leg goes straight behind you as an extension of your spine. There should be a beautiful little curve from the head, neck, down your back, through your leg. Nothing out of place. Some people will come into this flattening out. You can do that. I want to kick my foot out just a little bit to get this into my hip flexors and extenders. Kicking that foot out is going to stretch the piriformis of my front leg, and I'm stretching also, the piriformis is my hip extender. This is my hip flexor. You're getting two birds with one stretch. If this is too much for you, you can sit on a folded blanket or a pillow. Put that under your pelvis and lift yourself up just a little bit. It's a great modification. All right, I'm gonna have you rock out of that one. And all we're doing is switching our legs here. So just reposition your body. Front leg becomes the back leg becomes the front leg. I'm going to kick my heel out just a little bit to take that further into my piriformis. I tend to have good, tight hip extenders. Again, modify this as needed. You don't want to put pressure on the knees. You don't want to take yourself too far, too fast. Listen to your body. If it's hollering at you, back up and modify it as needed. Okay, if you're feeling a little bit of tension that's trying to release, particularly in the front leg, hip area, press into that a little more. 30 seconds is what you need for every stretch in order to truly release that muscle area. A minimum of 30 seconds. All right, so we have done some serious stretching of all sorts of muscles this morning for the hips and the back. Last one I'm going to have us do, put your feet together. This is cobbler's pose. The bottoms of your feet are touching. You can stretch into that. The closer your heels are to your body, the tighter that stretch is going to be, the better that stretch is going to be. I said it a little bit ago, I do have a few more than 10 stretches. Normally I stick with 10 for each stretch session. However, today I'm giving a few extras. If one is more applicable for you, if you find that you've gotten more out of one than another, go back to it after we're finished here. Do them again. You can't overdo stretching. You can go into it and out of it too quickly and cause trouble, but you can't overstretch your body throughout the day. Working out, you can only do so much because you can burn out. Stretching is a different thing. You can stretch before and after workouts. I even stretch throughout my workouts. All right. Again, thank you for joining me this beautiful Friday. We are into August, you guys. This is nuts. I can't believe how fast this year is going by. Well, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Have a great weekend. Deeply breathe as you breathe through it, and let that stress flow out of your body. Let tension go. Love one another and just really love your body. Take care of it because it'll take care of you. Have a great day, y'all.